It's getting to the point where I need to start having morning pillow talks with you guys because my life is a fucking disaster. Let's get into it. So for these pillow talks, I had myself an interesting night last night. I'm gonna leave it at interesting. I was gonna do this in my bed because, like, you know, when you wake up in the morning at a sleepover and you have like your little pillow talks in the morning of what happened the night before. Yeah, I was gonna do that, but I have no sheets on my bed, so it's giving ghetto. I'll get to that. The having no sheets on my bed is just the cherry on top of a perfect fucking night. Welcome to my channel. Hi, I'm Tara, nice to meet you, and my life is a fucking disaster. I'm trying to decide if I wanna just throw everyone's names out in the mix right now. It's like not that dramatic, so like I feel like I should just do it. I'll just lay everyone out on the table. Fuck it, like why not? Okay. I was feeling quite insecure for the past couple of days, and I had myself a summer where I didn't drink at all. I fucking like worked out every day. I was like running all the time, like eating next to nothing, and basically I got down to like this little skinny twig bitch, and I want her again. So I'm sitting around like, I'm not drinking anymore, like, cause like Jordy's here now. Like I have my friend like just moved here from out of town, so the weight's kind of taken off my shoulders a little bit, so I don't have to black out every time I see someone. I don't have to black out every time I go out, basically, because I feel more comfortable that he's here now. So I haven't drank in like 2 days, and I'm like, yeah, like I can go out now and not drink, like I'm such a baddie. So I ate an edible last night. It was like 7 o'clock. The vibes weren't there. I was like ready to go to bed, so I like pop an edible and I sit in bed and I start doing a word search. About 5 minutes after I pop this edible, I get a text from my friend Jack, and he's like, wanna go, oh, sorry, like my ex just texted me, 1 second. Yeah, I'm not responding to that. So he texts me, he's like, wanna go to Catch LA in 40 minutes. And Jack is leaving for Australia next week for 6 months, so of course I wanted to go. Me with the no money in my bank account said, yeah, let me just floor it, sir, to fucking like, let's gas it to Catch LA. But the problem was I ate an edible. That's the whole point that I'm trying to get to right now. So I'm like, okay, sickening. I get up, I'm like, sure, fuck it, I'll go. I get up, I'm like, I put on a fucking, let me talk about my outfit last night. I really pulled up in a fucking Fashion Nova skirt, a bra, a blazer, a fucking blazer that makes me look like an equestrian, but then Fila's. Like ready for Catch, like bougie, like Catch has never seen such luxury in their fucking life. So I pull up and I'm stoned at this point. And normally Miss Thang like can't really go out when I smoke, like it's just not, I'm taking a sip of my fucking water. It's like not really like a fun thing for me, it gives me anxiety. Normally when I smoke, like it means I'm like sitting down for the night and going to bed, which is hence why I ate the edible. So I pull up and I'm high and they're not even there yet. So I'm like waiting outside, it's a Friday night. And like there's just mad people around, obviously it's Friday. Like there's this big line waiting outside the door. Then there's me in my fucking blazer with my fake ass Chanel bag, just standing there. They pull up like 10 minutes later, we go inside. Catch is fucking beautiful. Let me talk about Catch for a fucking second. I have never been. And we go up to this rooftop and it's like a jungle. It's like a botanical garden with fucking twinkly lights, and then there's me in my Fashion Nova fit, which isn't bad, it was just funny. So we walk upstairs and we sit down at our table, and I'm fucking high out of my brain cells. And like literally, it was me, my friend Jack, and he brought his guy friend and like this girl that he's like talking to maybe, couldn't tell you. We sit down at the table, and this girl like starts crying, and I'm high. I'm sitting there really fucking high, like not peeping a goddamn word. I'm like, so do I drink tonight? You know, I'll get to that. We're there for like 5 minutes, and this girl like starts crying, and I'm like, oh, like, and literally 5 minutes into this dinner, she like found out that her uncle died. So this bitch like took off to the bathroom. I was like, what? I ordered a drink. Even though I was like, I'm not drinking for 2 weeks, like blah, blah, blah. I was high, okay? I was high, and I was like nervous and shy in front of like these new people. So I was like, I'll take a Grey Goose martini, up, dry, extra dirty, like fucking disgusting amount of olive juice. Cause like, I'm like, well, I'm meeting new people right now and I'm stoned. So I need to order a drink. Like it was one of those things where I had to. I didn't even have Jordan with me. So that was cool. So I'm like trying to get over my anxiety. I'm like high as a fucking stone. I'm like chugging my martini, chugging her. But I wasn't planning on like getting drunk. I just wanted it to like loosen up because I was like acting like a little freak. So then we ordered shots. So then we got some 42 shots. Wasn't my idea. Well, it took me about an hour to finish this shot. Like I wasn't planning on getting blackout. I just wanted to drink at the dinner and then go home and have like a normal ass night. So then my ex starts calling me, and like I wouldn't normally call him my ex. Like we were friends, like we were like best friends for a while, but like he's on this streak of like manipulating me and I'm like not here for it. So I'm sitting at this table and he calls me like 4 times and I'm like pissed off. I'm like really pissed off actually because I have lived in LA for 5 months. He has not visited me once. This man has not visited me once. I've been here for 5 fucking months and he literally just like took off to Chicago with some random girl. I'm like, so you'll get up and just like go to Chicago on a fucking whim with this random girl, but you won't like visit me at all? Cool. Got it. Hi, I'm Tara. Nice to meet you. My life is a disaster. So he's calling me like 4 times and I'm like mad. I like answer. I was like, I'm at fucking dinner. He's like, okay. So then I walked to the bathroom to like call him again because I was like, well, what did he have to say? Like he was probably just blackout and calling me to like, you know, like gaslight me or something. So I like go to the bathroom to call him. He didn't answer, but I like met this like the head executive of Boohoo in the bathroom and got a fucking brand deal. I was like, not me going to Catch and making money. Love that for me. So I go back to my table and he calls me again. I'm like, okay, I'm not answering. So I didn't answer. Then he texts me and says, come to Chicago. So I'm like, oh, he's drunk. So I responded and said, I would come to Chicago if you have made one effort to see me in the 5 months that I have lived in LA, but you haven't. So my ass will be sitting right at this fucking table. So then he decides to call me again and tell me that he loves me. Yeah. Lucky me, right? Like, lucky me. So what did I say? I said, I love you back. But I still hate him. So I'm like, who are you to like call me like 7 times while I'm at Catch and like just drop the bomb on me that you love me and like come to Chicago, but then in the morning you're gonna be like not talking to me again because you were just drunk and that's why you call. You know what I mean? It's a great situation I'm in, it really is. I know you're just like so jealous of me. I'm also sitting at this table after getting off of the phone with my ex, and my like ex coworker who I used to like fuck like texts me. And he's like, hey, like we were like a thing for a while. Like we knew each other for like 3 years, 4 years, like on and off, like fling, like whatever. I had the biggest crush on this guy for literally 3 years. But he was always like in a relationship. So like we never, like the timing never worked out. We were never, and he's like literally a Satan worshiper. Like forgot to mention that. And a cheater and a fuck, like he's an awful person. And he texts me and he's like, hey, like, I'm coming to Vegas soon to, like, visit my mom, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, I'm getting a my ass texted him at this fucking dinner table and said, okay, like, when are you coming? Like, I'm gonna book a suite at the Bellagio for us. Because, like, I don't do, like, hookup culture, like, at all. Like, that's just not my thing. Like, I want a relation. Like, I'll flirt with people. Like, I'll, like, hold your hand and, like, maybe kiss you. But, like, I don't, like, just, like, hook up with people because, like, I don't enjoy it, and then I get like sad if they like don't like want to start a relationship after that, because like I don't like just like hook up with people and then like not continue the relationship. Like I want love. I don't want sex. But it's getting to the point where your girl's getting horny. Your girl is struggling. And I don't even have a fucking dildo. Let me just lay this all out on the table right now. My dildo hurts me. I need to get a new one, and I just like haven't made the time to go do that. So my dildo is a very interesting dildo and it literally hurts me, so I can't even use that. So your girl is suffering. So but the one guy that I would just hook up with, because like that's just the relationship that we have, is this boy that is coming to Vegas. So I fully just planned a fucking day trip to Vegas to go like hook up with this boy that I used to have a crush with. So I guess I'm doing that too, like whatever. I guess like, I'm so excited. I am so excited. But like the only like bad part, should I even say that? That's kind of mean. His dick's a little And I'm like, do I really just like want to go have sex with somebody even though I don't like to do that? Like if their dick is small, like is it even worth it? Yes, because it's not the sex that I want, it's the cuddles. I'm probably not even gonna fuck him. I want cuddles. I want to be treated like I have a boyfriend for maybe one night, and then I'll be set, and then I'm gonna fly back to LA. You guys like know what I'm doing. You guys know what I'm up to. You guys know what I'm up to. So then we're like eating, and the guy, Jack's like talking to that girl, and the guy that he brought is like hardcore flirting with me, and I could tell the entire time. Great guy, like what a great kid, but like don't flirt with me because I won't flirt back. So I was like, I'll just pretend to like literally be a full-blown lesbian. Like every time that girl would get up from the table, I'd be like, oh, the tits on that bitch. Like that's the kind of girl that you meet at the supermarket and you never forget. Like literally like hardcore simping for this girl in front of the guy so that he would like stop flirting with me because I don't like, so awkward. I don't think he actually got the point. I don't think he got the hint because he didn't really stop flirting with me. Anyways, we leave, right? We're like downstairs. We left Catch. We left. We're gone. The girl like went home. It's just me and Jack and the other boy. So I'm like calling an Uber. I'm going home. I'm gonna go home and like smoke weed in bed because they were like getting a party bus. Jack was like, yeah, we're gonna go on a party bus and like then we're gonna go to the former Hype House. Let me just give you some background on what I'm about to say about the former Hype House. So I tried to go to the Wish House the other day. If you guys don't know what the Wish House is, it's a mansion in Bel Air that creators go to like collab basically, right? So my friend hit me up the other night and she was like, hey, like there's this party going on at Wish, like do you want to come? But it wasn't like a normal party, like it was like a small party with like hors d'oeuvres and like an open bar and stuff. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go, but I wasn't gonna drink. Like me and Jordan just like went with them, but you had to be 21 to get in because there was like an open bar. So we're sitting in the fucking driveway trying to get into the Wish House, which first of all is very embarrassing, very embarrassing. I'm like, I'm too famous to be here. I'm fucking kidding. So we're trying to get through this fucking bodyguard, but like he's checking IDs because you had to be 21. So our friend gave Jordy a picture of an ID, like a picture of a fucking ID of this guy that resembles nothing of Jordan, looked nothing like him, and this guy's name was fucking Blair. So of course Jordan couldn't get in. So like the girls went in and I stayed back with Jordan and we were Ubering home. So there's this other group of guys like sitting in the driveway who also couldn't get in, and they walk up to me and they're like plugging themselves. They're like, hey, like we're this new house, like we're called the Hush House LA. I'm like, oh great, I'm getting flashbacks to the fucking Hustle House. Like I don't need this right now. So me being a nice person, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna follow you on your socials, and the guy's like, oh, actually we haven't quite posted yet. But I was like, then how do you live in the former Hype House? Like I'm confused. That's like literally a mansion. Like how do you have a content house and you don't make content? So I follow them, like this little sketchy page, like 2,000 followers, no posts. I'm like, that's so weird. So we're sitting in the driveway waiting for our Uber. Then we got kicked out of the driveway by the Wish bodyguard. So we got kicked out onto the side of the road. So we're on the side of the road and these boys are like filming a YouTube video, like the Hush Boys, and they're like, we're sneaking in. Like they had a whole picture on their phone of like a map of the Wish House and like where to sneak in and where like you can't sneak in. And they're like, yep, we're gonna go through the woods and like hop the fence. I was like, they were like, you wanna come with? God, I would rather die than get caught trying to hop the fence of the Wish House. I would rather fucking pass away. No fucking thank you. So me and Jordan left. And so last night, Jack's like, yeah, we're going to the former Hype House. I'm like, the Hush House? He was like, yeah, how'd you know that? I was like, how did you know that? Who the fuck knows who the Hush Boys are? So I try to call an Uber because I don't want to go. I'm like, I'm not getting on a party bus and going to the fucking Hush House. I want to go home and smoke because like I don't want to be puffy. He checks my phone and like cancels my Uber and like won't let me leave. I'm like, okay, whatever. But I could have left. He like gave me my phone back and I was like getting ready to call another Uber, and then he goes, the Hustle Boys are coming, like we're going to pick them up. And I'm like a little hustle slut. So I was like, fine. This party bus takes an hour to show up. We're just like sitting on the sidewalk outside of Catch. My ex is still calling me, telling me he loves me and manipulating me and shit. I'm like, oh, aren't I lucky? So I get on this party bus, it finally shows up, and I almost like left again, but like one of like my followers was on the bus. Like she was really excited to see me. So I just kind of like latched onto her. And that guy was still flirting with me. So I grabbed this girl, I'm all over her. I'm like, I'm just gonna act like I'm fully like cuffed with this bitch right now so that this guy stops trying to put his arm around me, because he like literally put his arm around me on the bus. I was like, yo. So me and this bitch were like, I was like on her lap, like we were like taking shots together. I pull out my phone, I make an Instagram story, remember this for later on in the video. I was like, I have a bitch to my left and a bottle to my right. I'm on cloud 9. Shut up, Tara. Like, literally shut the fuck up. So at this point, the bus driver is like already angry with Jack because like he had been driving around with like the people on the party bus like all night, and apparently like the time was up. But Jack, like we still wanted to use the party bus. So like the guy was kind of like arguing with us for like a while and like trying to kick us off the bus. But we were like, no, we're staying on the fucking bus. So we stayed on the fucking bus and we gave them the address to the Hustle House. To the Hustle House. So we pull up to the house and they live on like a really tiny road. Like it's almost like the roads in the hills, but they don't live in the hills. They live on like, I almost just like capped their address. So the bus like couldn't move. So we pull up and we all get out, and like I ran upstairs to like grab them, to like grab like the Hustle place. And I brought them downstairs and we're like standing in the middle of the road for like literally an hour while this bus is trying to like turn around. It was literally an hour. This bus could not turn around. So the bus driver gets out and cusses Jack out like a motherfucker. Like, oh my fucking God. Like yelling in his face, cussing him out. So my little ass like walks up to this guy and like pays him off. I fucking paid off the guy to stop yelling at Jack. I was like, can I just like Venmo you like $200? So I Venmo'd this guy like $200 to like stop his antics, because I wanted to get back on the bus and like fuck around. It's like 2:30 in the morning at this point. 2:30 in the morning, and how do I say this without outing myself on the internet? I have a crush on somebody that was there. Well, I don't have a crush on him anymore. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Who am I to fucking lie right now? I'm not gonna lie right now. I had a crush on one of the boys that was there, and he was with his new girl. So I was fine by that. He was being like overly nice to me too, because I think that like he knew that like I was like upset about it. So I wasn't upset about it. It's just like weird seeing a guy that like you used to like have a crush on, and like we had like a thing too. So he like brings his girl onto the bus. We like got back onto this bus. So we're on the bus, and at this point it is 3 a.m. and the music stopped working. I think the driver turned it off so that we'd want to get off the bus. So we're trying to figure out the music for like literally 30 minutes and we couldn't figure it out. So we're like, let's just drive to Jack's house on this bus. I'm like, I want to go home. I'm in a bad mood. My ex is manipulating me. My crush is with his new girl. I'm like holding hands with this other guy. I have a crush on multiple. Okay, let me explain myself really quick so I don't sound like a crazy bitch. I was in relationships for years on end. I was never single, and I was like going down like a black hole. Like I hated myself. I never had time for myself. I was always with men. So I took the whole summer to fucking work on me. And it literally changed my life. Like, I had, like, the best summer of my life. Like, I, like, learned about myself and, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, had whatever. So, like, there's this other boy that was there with me last night. And I'm friends with him. And he, like, flirts with me a lot. And he's really cute and, like, really perfect and, like, amazing. So I have, like, a crush on him, too. I have a lot of crushes because... I don't know. I just want options. Like, I just love having crushes. Like, it's fun. So I'm, like, holding hands with him. I don't know how the fuck that happened. I just remember holding hands with him on the bus. Probably in front of everybody, which is awesome. Because I, like, made that other guy who was flirting with me think that I was a lesbian. And then I was all over that girl. And then he saw me holding hands with a boy. So that's really embarrassing. So we pull up to Jack's house and get off of the bus. And I go inside and I'm just, like, over that. I'm over it. I'm like... This sucks. I'm like, you're with your new girl. You're flirting with me even though I know you don't like me because you only text me and hang out with me when you're drunk. And you are in Chicago telling me that you love me even though you don't. So I'm over this bullshit. I'm like, I'm fucking leaving. So I left. I called my Uber and I dipped out of that bitch. And I get home And I'm like so dramatic, bro. I am such a simp. Like things like that like just like make me so upset. So like those three things together, like I couldn't handle it. So I come home and I put in my AirPods and I'm like listening to Justin Bieber's new album in bed and like literally about to cry. I pull out my phone and I posted on Instagram. I posted on my Instagram story. Remember early on in the night where I was like, I have a bottle to my right and a bitch to my left, I'm on cloud 9, yeah. I posted an Instagram story in bed with my AirPods in, like looking like sad, and I was like, yeah, I'm not on cloud 9 anymore, guys, like it got ruined. That is so dramatic. That is so fucking dramatic. So I like, so then I'm like laying there like listening to Justin Bieber and I decided to smoke to like make myself feel better. So I'm smoking and then I just like, you know when you just like get that anxiety, you're like, I smoke and I like want to delete everything. Like I can't go on my social media when I smoke or I would like literally delete all my accounts. Like I just can't do it. So thank God I smoked because I fucking raced back to Instagram and deleted that fucking story. And only 100 people saw it. So like that's like the one good thing that happened to me, I guess. Thankfully I passed out at around 4:30. And then I woke up at 8 a.m. to a call from Jack, and he's like, yeah, like, I just woke up, like, I'm still drunk, and I'm going to the gym. I was like, okay. Oh, my ex just texted me again. Hold up. Aren't I lucky? No, like, aren't I lucky? I love these little hangouts that we have together. Where I just like completely expose myself. So like he was like, I'm going to the gym, like blah blah blah. I'm like, great, I'm gonna go back to bed now. I like press like end call and I look over and my cat fucking pukes a big load of vomit right next to me on my bed. On like right on the corner of like my comforter and my sheets. Just perfectly so it was on my sheets and my comforter and not just like one or the other. So I was like, all right, should I go back to sleep? I really don't think I can. I don't think I can go to sleep when there's a hot pile of vomit next to me. So I guess I'll just get up for the day. Like fucking great, like, right? And now we're here. I have regrets. Thankfully I didn't black out. Thank God I didn't black out. I'm not blacking out for weeks. Starting now, okay? Starting now, guys. I'm not doing it. I feel like I had to. It was like his last night here, but like, you know, I just can't have like a normal night. I can never have just like a normal night where I'm like mentally like okay and stable. Cause like last night like went fine. Like in everyone's eyes, like in like on the outside it went fine. My insides were crippling. Like literally crippling because I'm a simp. I'm a fucking simp. And it sucks. And it sucks having multiple crushes too. Because especially when they like both don't want you. I'm just like, oh yeah, I'll go fuck myself. Like right now. God please, like literally God please, like it's just interesting. It's interesting like the dynamic, I don't know, I went from like Rhode Island to LA and basically in Rhode Island like I couldn't keep the boys away. That sounds so like cocky, but like I could pull anyone in Rhode Island. If I even like just looked at somebody in the bar, I could have them and make them my boyfriend and make them my bitch. Here is a whole different fucking story. If you're not a supermodel, if you're not, and if you don't have 50 million followers, nobody gives a fuck. No one gives a shit. So it's really weird, like, not being able to, like, pull who I want and, like, having them flirt with me, but they don't actually like me, and then they, like, bring their actual crushes, like, to the functions, and then I get upset, and I'm like, wait, I thought you, like, liked me because you, like, flirted me when you were drunk? And then, like, your ex is calling and saying that he loves you. Even though, like, he won't visit you, and he only says that when he's drunk. But he's with some other girl. And he's, like, moving! Oh, by the way, moving to Chicago. I think I'm gonna start doing these probably weekly, cause there's always like one night of the week where I go out and I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I could make a TikTok about this, but it'd have to be 10 parts. So maybe I'll just bring it to YouTube and tell you guys all about my fucking disasters. And it's even more awkward because no one else sees it as a disaster besides me because I'm extremely fucking dramatic. But everyone's like, what are you talking about? Like, last night was fucking fire. I'm like, no, I was crying. You were having a good time. I went home and cried and posted on Instagram, like talking about how sad I am and then got high and deleted it because I was nervous. Ah! Well, now that you guys know that I have 17 crushes and a manipulating ex and like a boy that I'm gonna go fuck in Las Vegas, I'm gonna sign off now. If you want to like follow me on my social medias, I'll like link them around the screen. Future Tara, you keep putting this off. I know you don't like putting your socials around the screen, but we're gonna have a James Charles moment right now, and I'm gonna be like, that's my pop up all around the screen. Do it, because I've been telling you to do this for weeks, and you cut it right out of the video. I see you every week rushing at the last second on Sundays to finish your YouTube videos, and you just cut that part out because you're like, oh, it doesn't matter. You're doing it this time. I'm gonna go now. I have like a lash appointment, and I'm sweaty, and I'm hungover, and I'm mad, and I'm gonna like call my ex and like see what like he's doing. No, tell me not to. Tell me not to. Thank you. I love you guys so much. Give me your forehead kiss because I'm not original at all. Bye. I'll like see you, and I'll see you next week. Every Sunday, maybe. Maybe. I love you. Bye!